Okay, good afternoon. Only 41 participants are there. Okay, I would like to start the session. So let me rewind about the external fragmentation and internal fragmentation. What is external fragmentation? The external fragmentation means whenever you are dividing the user area into multiple partitions like holes, internal wastage, and when we assign a process or when we allocate some memory to a process is of size 40 KB and we are allocating a 50 KB partition to it. So what will be the remaining memory which is free within the block? 10 KB, right? That means a 50 KB partition is available and you are allocating a 40 KB process to that particular partition. So automatically the 10 KB partition which is waste within the block is called as internal fragmentation. Then what is external fragmentation? So when there is unequal partitions, when there are unequal memory partitions, for example, some of the partitions of small size are not at all useful for keeping a process within it, right? At that time, all the remaining small partitions are not suitable for keeping a process. At that time, what we can do? So such type of problem is called as external fragmentation of all. So what we can do in that case, we can combine all the small holes and form like a big hole so that the big hole is useful for keeping a new process in it, right? The small partition, small holes, external holes are not at all useful for us to keep a process within it, right? At that time, the small the small holes which are in the main memory are kept one side are kept one side and form like a big hole. We are combining all the small holes into a big hole, so that we can keep a process within it. That is called as external fragmentation, and the solution for the external fragmentation is compaction. We already discussed about all these things, right? And then now would like to discuss paging. Okay, what is paging first of all? So what is paging and what is a page table? We already discussed this one in the last class. So what is a paging? Paging is nothing but we are dividing the entire uh, logical memory into pages. The logical memory is divided into pages and the main memory is divided into frames. Okay, I already told you the logical memory is divided into pages. Here in the case of paging concept, the entire logical memory is divided into equal sized pages. That means each and every page is of equal size. Okay, those pages are having a page number. For example, the logical memory of a process is divided into 4 pages: page 0, page 1, page 2, page 3. Assume that all the 4 pages are of equal size. Okay, we need to keep those pages into frames. What are the frame? Frame is a part of a main memory. That means we are dividing the main memory into frames and we are dividing the logical memory into pages. What we have to do? We need to keep these pages into frames for the execution. Who is responsible for executing the pages or a process? The CPU is responsible for executing a process. In order to execute the process instructions, the CPU need to generate one address. So try to follow the cursor. This is a logical address. What is logical address? What is a physical address? We already had a discussion when we talk about memory management introduction, right? I repeat once again for you. The logical address is a CPU generated address. CPU generated address is called as logical address and it is not a real address. That is the reason why the logical address is also called as virtual address. And what about the physical address? Physical address is called as the real address. Okay. Who will convert the logical address into physical address? There is a hardware device called as memory management unit. The memory management unit is responsible for converting the logical address into physical address. So this is the paging hardware. Okay, try to follow the cursor. CPU will generate one address that is called as logical address. So the CPU generated logical address is divided into two partitions. The CPU generated logical address is divided into two partitions. One is the page number and the second one is the offset D or displacement. Okay. P indicates the page number and D indicates the offset. Okay. So the logical address is divided into two partitions. One is a page number and the second one is the displacement or offset. Okay. Usually we call it as offset. Okay. The page number will be the first entry of the page table. So I already told you in the last class, the page table has two entries. The outer part of the page table indicates page numbers and the inner part of the page table entry are frames. That means which page is available in which frame will be indicated by the page table. Page table consists of two entries. The outer part of a page table is indicating the page number. Here the P indicates page number. What is F? F indicates the frame number. That means page 0 is in frame 1. Like that, the outer part is used to know the page numbers and the inner part is indicating the frame numbers. So for example, this page number is in this frame. Okay. Whenever we move to that particular frame, so this is a frame, right? In those frame, in which location the exact instruction is available. So for that purpose, I repeat once again, this page is available in this particular frame, for example. So when we move to that particular frame is of some size, right? It may be a 10 kb or it may be a 20 kb or it may be a 50 kb. In those 50 kb, where this particular required instruction available for the execution. For that purpose, we need to add some value to that particular frame. So that value is nothing but offset. So straight away the offset will be added to the frame. Okay, frame starting address. Where the frame was started? Frame started at F0000 some 000, right? Where it will be ended? F11111. This is the location. This is the hexadecimal notation. So automatically within this is the portion of that particular page, right? So automatically that frame address will be added to the offset so that we will get the exact location of the instruction to be executed by the CPU. Okay. So already earlier we have a discussion about this. So try to observe this one. The CPU generated address is called as a logical address. For example, 346. Okay. 346 location. Okay. What the memory management will read, what the memory management unit did, the memory management unit take this logical address 346 and it added to the 14,000. 14,000 is the base address or the starting address of a process. So usually user treat that the user process will start from 0th location, for example. Okay, from 0th location. So which address the CPU want to execute? CPU want to execute the 346 location, right? So automatically what the memory management will read? The memory management did the addition operation. So the logical address 346 is added to 14,000 base address so that we will get the 14,346. So that is the actual location where the instruction is available for the execution. So the CPU will take the instruction available in that location, memory location, and it will execute the instruction for us. Okay, na? That means the user is no way related to the physical memory. So the actual address is not known to the user process. User process always deals with the logical address only. Okay, it is no way have a connection to the physical memory. So whenever the CPU generate a logical address, it will be converted to the physical address with the help of a MMU. So for a logical address, we are adding something that is called as a base address. Okay, base address means what is the starting address of the user process P1, for example. Okay. Like that fashion, in the paging hardware also, the CPU generated logical address is divided into two parts. So what are those? One is a page number and the second one is a offset. So the page number, if you know the page number, you came to know the frame number 2. How can we know the frame number? If you know the page number, automatically we can get the frame number by using a concept called as page table. So whenever we know the page number, so we will search the page table entry by entry. For example, page number 10. Where the page number 10 is available? The page number 10 is available in the frame number 5. So we take the address, and to that address we are going to add the offset. So whenever you are adding the offset to that particular frame number, we will get the exact location of the instruction which is going to be executed by the CPU. Is it clear to you all? So this is the paging hardware. Is it clear to you all? If you are not comfortable with this topic, I will explain you again. Let me know. Is this diagram is clear to you all? Can I move to the next topic? You can respond via chat. Okay. Then the next concept, right? So as I told you earlier, the logical memory is divided into pages, right? Try to follow the cursor. So this is the logical memory. That means the user process is divided into pages. Page 0, page 1, page 2, page 3. And the main memory. This is called as a main memory. The main memory is also called as a physical memory. So the main memory is divided into frames. Okay. Which page is available in which frame will be known by the page table. So page table consists of two entries. So the outer partition indicates the page numbers and the inner partitions indicates the frame numbers. So for example, page 0 is available in frame 1. Check it. This is a page 0, page number 0, and where it is available? In the frame 1. Go to the main memory. This is the frame 1, right? In the frame 1, page 0 is available, right? And next, where the page 1 is available, go to the page table. This is the page number 1, where it is available? In the frame number 4. Go to the frame number 4. Here the page 1 is available, right? Like fashion, page 2. The page 2, and next where it is available? In frame 3. If you go to frame 3, then page 2 is available. And next, what about page 3? This is the page number 3, and where it is available? In the frame number 7. Okay, like that. If you know the page number, automatically we can know the frame number where it is available, right? That is the thing. That is the reason why whenever the CPU generate a logical address, we are dividing it into the two parts. One is a page number and the second one is the offset. So with the help of a page number, we came to know the frame number. So whenever we know the frame number, we move to that particular memory location. Okay, starting address. But we don't require the starting address of a page. What we require in that page, the exact location where the instruction is available. Okay, for that purpose, to the frame, we need to add the offset. Likewise, the 346 is added to 14,000, so that we will get the 14,346 earlier, right? So the frame number will be added to offset, so that we'll get the exact location. Have you got my point? So the page number available in which frame, that is indicated by the page table. Okay, I'm next coming to this paging example. So what is this? So here we have a logical memory and it is a physical memory. So the logical memory is divided into 4 pages. How many number of pages are there? 4 pages. This is a, again the each and every page has a four pages separately. 0, 1, 2, 3, and then again in this frame again it is divided internally 4, 5, 6, 7, and again it will be divided into 8, 9, 10, 11, and the next partition is divided into 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, So this is a page 0, entire portion it is called as page 0, and it is a page 1, and it is page 2, and it is page 3. Okay, so if you know the page numbers, how many number of pages are available, then we can know the frame numbers by using a page table. So page 0 is available in fifth frame. So where is the fifth frame? Right? So page 0 is in frame 5. Frame 5 means, so what we need to do, we need to multiply with it 4. Why? Because 0 has 4 pages, right? So 5 into 4 means 20. So if you move to the 20th location in the main memory, there you found ABCD, right? Likewise, if we want to access EFGH, EFGH is available in page 1. So where the page 1 is available? In the 6. So 6 into 4. 6 into 4 means 24. If you move to the 24th location, there you get EFGH. Likewise, what about the page 2? Page 2 is available. In the page 2, we have IJKL. If you want to access IJKL, then what we need to do? It is available in first frame. So first frame means 1 into 4. So we need to the fourth memory location. There we will get the IJK. So what is the memory location of I? 4. What is for J? 5. What is for K? 7. 6. What is for L? 7. Like that. So if M and OP want to access, so automatically it is in the page 3. So frame 2, that means 2 into 4. 2 into 4. If you multiply with it 4, automatically you need to go to 8th location. So M and OP. Okay. That is the thing. Here if you observe, each and every page is of equal size. Okay, in the paging, the logical memory is divided into pages and the physical memory is divided into frames. But one more point what you need to understand is the entire logical memory is divided into equal sized pages. That is what you need to understand. Equal sized pages. Okay. This also we have covered last class, but I want to explain you once again. So usually whenever you want to keep your pages into the frames, the operating system has to know which frames are free and which frames are already used by the some other process. In order to keep these pages, the operating system has to know the free frame list. So first of all, the logical memory new user process is divided into 4 pages: page 0, page 1, page 2, and page 3. These pages you want operating system want to keep into the main memory for the execution. So what are the free frames here? Here we have a 5 frames. What are those? 14, 13, 18, 20, and 15. Okay. So page 0 is available in the operating system want to keep the page 0 in the frame 14. So page 0 is in frame 14. Okay, observe the cursor, follow the cursor. Page 1 will be in the frame 13. So page 1 is in the frame 13. And next page 2 we keep it in the page 18. So page 2 is in frame 18, and page 3 is in frame 20. Page 3 is in frame 20. Like that, operating system will take the information from the free frame list. So which frames are available and which frames are not already used. Okay. So these 4 pages we kept in the 4 frames, so that 14 already used by new process, 13 used by the new process, and 18 is used for page 2 of new process, and 20 the frame is also used for the page 3 of a new process. What is the leftover free memory, free frame? So now the free frame list. After keeping all these 4 pages into the frames, page 0 in frame 14, page 1 is 13, and page 2 is an 18th frame, and page 3 is in 20th frame. What is the free frame now? 15. So all these four frames are used for keeping these 4 pages. So the leftover free frame is 15. So free frame list is updated. So only one free frame is available now, that is 15. Likewise, operating system will check the availability of a frames in the free frame list. What a free frame list consists of? The free frame list consists of the number of frames which are free. Okay, that is the thing. And the next concept is implementation of a page table. No need to go through the entire theory. So let me explain you with the help of an example. So if I read out the slide, there is no meaning to read out the entire slide. Okay. So again, anyhow, anyway, you will go through all the material. Again, what is the need of reading? What is the need of reading now? Okay. So that is the reason why I would like to explain the concept for you. So at the end of the topic, if you were not able to understand what I am saying, at that time, for sure, you will go through the slides, right? So what is a paging hardware with the TLB? So first of all, what is a TLB? Transaction look aside buffer. Okay, what for you are going for TLB. So what is this concept, right? So as I told you earlier, so the entire logical memory is divided into pages and the physical memory is divided into frames. If it is a small process, then we are dividing it into the 4 pages. So automatically the page table consists of 4 entries. Page 0 entry, page 1 for 1 entry, page 2 for 1 entry and page 3 for 1 entry. Like that, if we have 4 pages, then the page table has only 4 entries. But in real time, the page table is very big in size. Okay, each and every page table might have thousands of entries. So where we need to keep the page table, we need to keep the entire page table into the main memory. So every time CPU will generate one address in order to execute the instruction. So that address is called as logical address. Whenever the CPU generate a logical address, every time where we need to check for the page number, where the page number is available, where the page is available in the frame, every time we need to check the page table, right? So whenever, try to observe the cursor, whenever CPU generate one logical address, the logical address is divided into page number and the offset. So whenever this page number is available, we can easily get the frame number. So how can we get the frame number? By using the page table. What I mean to say is, here in this example, the logical memory is divided into only 4 pages. So automatically, what is the size of the page table? So how many rows? 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 rows are there in the page table. It is very small page table. So we can search for a page in a faster manner. Why? Because the number of entries are very low. Okay. And by the way, where the page table is available, the page table is also available in the main memory. That means whenever you want to execute the main memory, execute the instruction which is available in the main memory, we need to refer to the main memory twice. So what is the reason for referring the main memory twice? In order to know the frame number, we need to search the page table. Where the page table is available? The page table is available in the main memory, right? The page table is also available in the main memory. That is the reason why CPU can access the page table. If it is in the secondary memory, the CPU cannot access the secondary memory, right? So the page table is also available in the main memory. So first, whenever the CPU generate one logical address, we need to go to the page table once. Where the page table is available? The page table is in the main memory. Okay. If the page table is having only 4 pages, then the page table size is very less, and we can search for it in a faster manner. But if the page table have thousands or lakhs of pages, in that case, we need to go to the main memory and we need to check for the page every time. Every time we need to go to the page table for a frame number. If you know the page number, sorry, if you know the page number, we need to go to the page table every time in order to know the frame number, right? In order to know the frame number, right? If let me explain with a paint so that it will be better understandable to you. right? Whenever CPU generate one logical address, okay, the logical address is divided into two parts. What are those? One is a page number and the second one is offset. Okay, if you, offset D. Okay, if you know the page number, so automatically we can search the page number, we can search the page number in a page table. We can search the, we can search with the page number. So where the, what for we are searching the page table? If you know the, if we know the page number, we can search for frame number. Okay, where we can search the frame number? We can search the frame number in the page table. Okay, if you know the page number, in the which frame the page is available, which frame the page is available. Okay, so with the help of page table we came to know which frame the page is available, in which frame the page is available. So once you know the frame number, automatically for this frame number we need to add the offset, so that we'll get the exact physical address. So this is the main memory, right? That means whenever CPU generate a logical address, we need to refer to the main memory twice for the execution. One is for to know the frame number. The page table is available in the main memory. So in order to access the page table, in order to, sorry, how many times we need to access the main memory? We need to access the main memory, two times. Okay, only the first case, whenever we want to know the frame number, we need to access the page table. The page table is available in the main memory. So for a page table, to search in a page table, we need to access the main memory once. So whenever the second time we are going to access the main memory, so whenever we know the physical address, in order to execute the instruction which is available in this location, for getting the instruction from the memory, for getting the instruction from memory, we will access the main memory second time. Okay, if the page table is small, searching time will be low. If the page number is, if the page table size, is small, if the page table is small, then searching time will be low. Why? Because here, for example, page 0, page 1, page 2, page 3. In our example, the new process has only 4 pages. So what about the page table size? Page 0 is in frame 3. Page 1 is in second frame. Page 2 is in first frame. Page 3 in fourth frame. Like that, we have only 4 entries in the page table. So within no time we can search. And the page table size is also small. So page table consumes less memory. If the page table has thousands, thousands of entries, in the page table, then we need to search the entire 1000 entries for a frame number. So automatically the page table requires more main memory, and it is time consuming. and it is time consuming for search entire table. Okay, is it clear for you all? Okay, in order to understand this concept, where the page table is available, the page table is in main memory. If it is small, requires less memory, and also searching time is less. What we are searching? Searching for a frame where the page number available. Searching for a frame where the page number is available. That means page 0 is available in which frame. Okay, the searching time will be low. Why? Because the page table size is small. Okay, if a page table size is big, if it is having thousands of entries, automatically what happened? It requires more main memory. That is the problem number 1. And the problem number 2 is searching time is more. Okay, that means whenever you want to execute an instruction, or CPU want to execute an instruction, automatically we need to add two values. The first value is searching time in main memory, and the second value is execution time. In order to execute, first we need to know where the page is or where the instruction is available. So searching time in the page table, and the second one is execution time. Okay, now this is the page table. Okay, so the page table is very big, so that what we need to do? So this is called as TLB. TLB means transaction look aside buffer. So transaction look aside buffer is in the cache cache memory. So what is cache memory? I already told you. So when we had a discussion about storage hierarchy, memory hierarchy. Okay, cache is usually in between the main memory and the registers. Cache is near to CPU, and next cache is a very fastest memory device. That means we can access the information from a cache in a fast manner when compared to the main memory. Okay, so again I would like to explain you with the help of paint. Right, so this is the memory hierarchy: registers, and then cache, and then main memory. After that, magnetic disk, electronic disk, magnetic tape, it is the last one here, optical disk. Right, so all these are the secondary memory devices. So the registers are fastest storage devices. Why? Because we can access them in a fast manner. After the registers, the next one is a cache. Cache is in between the registers and the main memory. What is for cache? Cache is used to store frequently used information. frequently used information. Okay, I already gave you one real example. So a kitchen example, right? For example, this is your stove. Okay, so whenever your mother want to cook something for you, so automatically what your mother will do, your mother will keep salt, sugar, and next turmeric powder, mirchi powder in a small containers, right? Instead of keeping all the big containers here, so what your mother will do, your mother will keep frequently used items near to the stove, near to stove. Okay, and they can be, all these are small containers, and they can keep only small amount of salt, and next a little amount of sugar, like that, small containers, all these things. So whenever the salt is over here, whatever mother, it is empty, so whenever it will become empty, what your mother will do, mother will go to the mother will go to the big container, mother will go to the big container which is available in the rack, and mother will take some salt and keep it in a small container again. So what is the purpose of keeping all these items near to her? Why? Because salt, sugar, and then turmeric powder or a pepper powder, and next mirchi powder, all these are frequently used items. Frequently used items. So that is the reason why whenever your mother want to cook something, she will always keep some items near to her in the small containers. Okay. Likewise, cache is near to CPU. Cache is near to CPU, and it is fastest accessing device. That means the CPU can access the information from a cache in a faster manner when compared to the main memory. Okay, and next, as it is near to the CPU, so frequently used information will be kept in cache, will be kept in cache. Okay, have you got my point? So if the instructions are not required, instruction is not available in the cache, then automatically what we need to do, we need to take it from the main memory and keep it in the cache again. Are you got my point? So whenever CPU want to execute any instruction, so first where the CPU will check, the CPU will check for this instruction in the cache. If the available instruction is in the cache, then it is called as cache hit. If the instruction is not available, if the instruction is not available in the cache, then it will be called as cache miss. Cache hit means the instruction, required instruction is in cache, then it is called as cache hit. If the required instruction is not available in the cache, then it is called as cache miss. So if it is cache hit means the instruction is available in the cache, then we no need to go to the main memory. When the instruction is available in the cache, there is no need to go to the main memory. CPU can directly access the cache and execute the instruction. Okay. Likewise, if the page table is of big size, what we need to do, we no need to keep the, we no need to go to search the main memory in order to know the frame number. So what usually the CPU will do, what the operating system will do, the operating system will keep the frequently used page number information into the TLB. TLB is a transaction look aside buffer. It is also having two entries like a page table, page number and the frame number. But what it contains, the page table is also contain the same information, page number and a frame number. But A TLB contains the information of a page numbers which are used very frequently. That means frequently used page numbers and their frame numbers are available in the TLB. Okay, whenever the CPU generate a logical address, it is divided into two partitions. One is a page number and the second one is the frame numbers. Whenever you know the page number, usually where we need to check, you need to check in the page table directly. But here in this case, whenever you know the page number, first you check the cache, that is TLB. If the page number known to you, you will go to the TLB first. Then automatically, if you know the page number here, and your required page number is here in this particular table, then it is called as TLB hit. So you know the frame number and you add this offset to this particular frame number and you know the physical address. Okay. If the required page number is not available in the TLB, then it is called as TLB miss. At that time, what you need to do? You need to go to the page table, and then that means it is not in the cache, it is not in the TLB. Okay. Then where it will be? We need to check in the main memory page table. So page number, then we know the frame number, so that once we know the frame number, we can add the offset to it. So we get the physical address. Are you got my point? If the required page number is available in the TLB, then it is called as TLB hit. If the required page number entry is not available in the TLB, then we need to go to the page table in the main memory. So directly we no need to go to the main memory, right? So that we can speed up the execution. How can we speed up the execution? Let me give one example. So if you observe here, if you observe here in this example, if the salt is available in the small container, so that you can use it for your cooking purpose. If the salt is not available here, then only we need to go to the big container. If the salt is available here, so automatically it is very near to you. So the accessing speed is, time is very low. If it is not available, then where we need to go? We need to go open the rack and the big container is there, and you need to open that big container and we need to take from that big container. So it takes much time, right? So whenever the salt is near to you in the small container, so automatically your mother can take it in a no time. Within no time you can take, and within a fraction of second you can take the salt from the small container. Why? Because it is near to her, right? In a similar fashion, whenever the CPU generated address page number is available in which frame, if you know that frame number, first CPU will check in the cache. Why? Because cache is near to the CPU. Cache means within the cache the TLB is available. Within the cache the TLB is available. So if it is available in this particular frame, if it is available in the frame, then automatically it is called as TLB hit. So if the page number is not available in this particular entries TLB, then it is will be treated as a TLB miss. At that time you need to go to the page table. So then we get the frame number, the offset will be added to the frame number and the physical address will be generated. Okay. When we go to this particular concept, when the page table size is too big and every time you need to go to the main memory to get the frame number, it is a time consuming process. Why? Because in order to access the main memory, it will take for some time for the CPU when compared to the cache. If you access the cache, then it will be very less when compared to the main memory accessing. Why? Because cache is near to CPU when compared to the main memory. So if the information is available, the required information is available in the cache, then it is called as cache hit. If the required information is not available in the cache, then it is called as cache miss. Whenever there is a cache miss, then only we need to go to access the main memory. Okay. What is the time? 2:23. Yes, we have a time. So this is effective access time calculation. Effective access calculation. So here we don't have any, this is the formula. So, but let me explain you with an example so that it will be clear to you all. Let me explain with a small example. Tomorrow we'll discuss about hit ratio and the remaining things. Okay. For example, in order to execute the, you need to answer for this question for sure. In order to execute the instruction, it takes 100 milliseconds. For example, accessing main memory is of 100 milliseconds, and then accessing the cache is of 20 milliseconds. Okay. So what will be the total time required? Total time required to access the instruction. So total time required to access the instruction in case of cache hit and in the case of cache miss. Tell me, if it is a cache hit, so automatically what can we do? So where the cache hit means, you know the address from the cache. It will take 20 milliseconds. And how much time it, in order to get the information from the main memory, in order to execute the instructions, 100 milliseconds. So the total time is 120 milliseconds. So if it is a cache hit, that means accessing cache 20, and then from the main memory we need to get the information 100 milliseconds. In order to execute the instruction, we need to read the instruction, and then we need to execute, and execute after that. Read the instruction, we require 100 milliseconds, right? If it is a cache miss, what happened? If it is a cache miss, how can we know? So we need to go to the cache first. There the required information is not available. Then we need to go to the main memory in order to get access the page table. And then after that, you need to get the instruction. So again, 100 milliseconds. In order to access the main memory, 100 milliseconds. In order to access the page table, 100 milliseconds. Why? Because it is also available in the main memory. And next to cache miss. In order to search in the cache, you require 20. So what is the total time? 220 milliseconds. That means if it is a cache miss, we need to search the cache. So we need to consider the cache time, and then it is not available in the cache. So we need to give to the page table. So in order to access the page table, we need to access the main memory. Again, it is 100. And next after that, we get the frame number. So we will add the frame number to offset so that we will get the memory location. So in order to access the memory location, again 100. So 20 plus 100 plus 100, total 220 milliseconds. So if it is a cache hit, it is cache miss, right? It is cache miss. If it is a cache hit, then we no need to go for the page table in the main memory. Directly we get the information from the cache TLB, right? The page is in the frame. So directly we can get the frame and we'll add that to the offset and we'll get the memory. If it is a cache hit, then 20 milliseconds in order to access the TLB and 100 milliseconds in order to access the main memory for the instruction. So the total is 120. If it is cache hit, what 120 milliseconds. If it is a cache miss, 220 milliseconds. Okay. Tomorrow morning, Monday morning we have a class. In the class, we will discuss 1 or 2 problems on hit ratio and effective access time, so that you will have enough idea. Okay. If you have any doubts, let me know. Do you have any doubts? Is the concept clear to you all? That is for today. Do you have any doubts? Let me know. If you are not responding, I will read that the entire concept is well understood by you. No doubts. Thank you. Okay, that's it for today. In the Monday's morning session, we are going to solve some problems related to the cache hit and cache miss. Thank you.